Okay, my friends, is everybody all right up there? And you don't even have your cameras on. I can't even see your faces. You're very welcome to keep your cameras on. It is personal, but I guess you don't have to. So let's forge on, because we do the passage as well. I hope you're not suffering. I don't know what to say. We just have to keep going and don't expect to remember it all. Just try to sort of like put in first, some samskaras in there, and when you run into something, you come back and check. You've been doing it for years. Don't give up. Don't become despondent. Don't by no look at me. I've been doing it 40. I say the same thing. I'm so glad I make mistakes actually, because that should give you it should give you should make you think, well, he makes mistake. He's been doing it forever. Translator, I've got a Penguin translation. You think anybody that translated text for Penguin should bloody well know Sanskrit perfectly? Well, that's not the case, my friends, because I have a Penguin translation, and I look at all the mistakes I made. So I say that to give you fortitude. You should be, I'm encouraging you to think, if he's making mistakes after all this, what are you supposed to be doing after a few months? So mistakes is not the determination of your of where you're at. You're going to make mistakes. All you have to do is keep going. And you'll be making mistakes for a very long time. And you just live with it. And you go check. And you just be grateful that at least you can, you fiddle around with Sanskrit and read the Gita, and you get what happens is you can actually, once you get to read the Gita, 90% of it's only these weird irregularities, and you're zooming through a text, and then one word will hold you up for 2 hours or half an hour. That's how it is, and then you eventually always figure it out. I mean, almost always. You've got Goldman, and the rule's going to be there somewhere. And if it's not in Goldman, it'll be in the Kluge car. So just I know it's just feel we've got another 10 chapters, and it's going to be you just have to keep going. And by the way, you'll actually know a lot more than you think, because when you come back to do it the second time, you'd be like, oh, I remember this. It won't be new anymore, my friends. All you have to do is keep going for another, whatever it is, 6 months. We got what? 10 more classes. We're doing 2 a month. So what's the math? 6 months. Let's say we have a couple of chapters we need to spend a bit more time on. 6 months. That's nothing. October, November, December, January, February, March. Then we done Goldman, and then we go back, and you'll know a lot more. It won't be traumatic the second time round. Be like, oh, I remember that. All you have to do is keep going. Don't give up, and don't tell yourself some useless, pathetic story that you can't do it. You can do it. Okay. Little lecture for the day. I mean, so we call it a day. Do you feel you're hanging in there? Is everyone, are you hanging in there? You're not giving up. I mean, whatever you feel now, it's pretty much at this point, whatever your feelings now, you're probably going to stay at that level of feelingness. I think you're halfway through. So if you're floundering but hanging in there, then that's what it's going to be like for the rest of the course. And then you go back and then you'll realize, wait, I know more than I thought I did. If you're doing well and on top of it, then there's no reason why you won't continue feeling on top of it. But just keep hanging in there, and really, you'll never regret. You will regret if you give up. Can you imagine giving up halfway through? You'll regret, and you won't have that gift when you get old. What are you going to do when you get old? When you get old, what's your sangha? It's a sacred text. You don't want to go out and run around and just waste time. You take shelter in the sacred text. What else are you going to do with the mind, my friends? What are you going to do with the mind as we get old? That's satisfying. Nothing else is satisfying. The sacred texts are so satisfying. Every time you read the Shastra, you're satisfied. Nothing else is like that. There's nothing like that. Telly is not like that. You're flicking channels. You're just bored. You're flicking. You just go to bed disgusted. Come on, we know this. Shastra there's something about it. It's not mundane. Not coming from this plane. It's like mantra. Can you imagine just repeating the same words? If it was anything else, you just get sick to death of it in 10 minutes. And Shastra is, my guru would always say, Sangha is the Shastra. It's not necessarily other yogis even. He would say that. Don't think it's other yogis, because if you think Sangha is other yogis, it's interesting. He said, you will become discouraged. It's true. Sometimes you hang out with yogis and you feel like discouraged. You're like, what? Is that what you get after 45 years of practice? You can say that about yourself as well. But every time you read the Shastra, it's always inspiring. So this is your ticket to a sort of satisfying and deeply meaningful old age and preparation for death. And don't wait for old age. You should, develop your Svadhyaya practice now when you're young. But certainly when, now we still have all these illusions and we still running around thinking there's something out there. Of course there's not. But certainly as you get older, this is your companion, not some useless aging body companion. The Shastra is your companion, and that prepares you for death. So Sanskrit's going to help you with that. It makes it more interesting. You fiddle around. Oh, I remember that rule. Oh, and it's not. You're not just on a linguistic level. You're also getting the jnana, and you're getting the bhakti, and you're diving in the ocean, like the ocean. Sagare. We just had that word. Anandasya sagare. The ocean of bliss. Even the stories of Ram. They're blissful. They're beautiful stories. They're not just folk tales. The transcendent presences. You dive into read the story of Rama. Your mind is absolutely transported to Brahman. These are portals into Brahman, my friends. And Sanskrit is going to help you. So don't just think of it as a language. Think of it as you don't need it. You can read this stuff in English, but this is going to really just make your study of Shastra just a bit more satisfying. It's still Brahman, whatever language it's in. The Shastra is Brahman. It's sonic Brahman. It's Shruti. It's divine presence. So it doesn't really matter what the language, but there's something about Sanskrit that just makes it that much more Brahmanesque. So take it with you into old age and don't give up. Okay? Yes? Jai Sri 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 Sita Ram. See you in 2 weeks, my friends.